What is the danger in Maslow's hierarchy of needs? If you don't know what Maslow's hierarchy of needs is, I'll explain that in a second. But if you don't know this information, then you're like regular people trying to do regular things and taking your time. And eventually, someday, one day, when you're 70, 80, or 90, you feel self-actualization and fulfillment. But if you actually really process what I'm about to share with you today, your business can thrive. Your business can grow. Your life could feel even more fulfilled. You could actually find deeper relationship because you're not conditioned by many of the societal limits that has been created for you. So what am I talking about here? Too much complicated sentences. So Abraham Maslow, an American psychologist, said that there are several steps to self-actualization. So I'm going to explain that in a second. So basically, he says there are psychological needs for humans. And once you start meeting those psychological needs, then there is need for safety. You need to feel safe, physical safety. And then there is a need for love, belonging, right? And then you need to build self-esteem. And then you will feel self-actualized. If you look at the world, you would see this model in different patterns. For example, this order of ascension is in chakras too. If you're familiar with Eastern methodology of chakras, there are like level 1 root chakra or root chakra, and then there are like 7 different chakras that you need to attain in order for you to feel self-actualized. So if you look at it, this is a global model. It's not just the Western Abraham Maslow. Essentially, in the Eastern world, it's the same thing. There's a fundamental flaw in this thing. The fundamental flaw is you can be self-actualized right now. You don't need to meet your psychological needs or physical safety or love and belonging or feel self-esteem in order for you to be self-actualized. And how do I know that? I can give you solid examples, and I could share some of my own examples. So look at it. Let me give you an example, like extreme example. Jesus, a man who lived 2,000 years ago. Let's think about him like that. So now this man is like almost dying. Does he have his psychological needs met? No. Does he have physical safety? No. Does he have love and belonging? No. Almost all of his people left. Like, looks like he got the wrong crowd, to support him. He might have self-esteem, but even that self-esteem is taken away when in his darker times, and he's still self-actualized. Now he'll be like, oh, Christ is amazing. Christ is, superhuman. He can do that. I cannot do that. Let's take a silly example, Titanic. So there is this Kate and Jack. Okay, so Kate is like, if you remember the plot of Titanic, so Kate is basically trapped somewhere. And then Jack is like, what is he trying to do? He's trying to go save her. And so he could actually die, right? He would actually die if he's actually saving this person called Kate. So does he have psychological security? No. Does he have physical safety? No. He's walking towards death. Does he feel love? Of course, he is feeling the love, but it's not because he feels psychological needs and because he understands he has physical safety. No, he's feeling love without it. So in other words, there is no need for it to be hierarchy. I'm not saying that we don't need these things like self-esteem and love and safety and physical safety and psychological safety. What I'm saying is these are not sequential. This is a fundamental piece that humanity is missing. So we don't need it to be in this order. We don't need to satisfy this thing so that we move to the next thing. And this is how, like, if you look at, like, if you are an advanced person who looked into spirodynamics or different advanced models that are all hierarchical, any hierarchical model essentially is fundamentally a construct of the human mind, because human mind need to feel that, oh, I'm in level 2, I'm in level 3, I'm level 5, I'm level 6, I'm level 7. It's just a ego boosting action. It's not that you are in this level or that level. The bottom line is, no matter where you are, if you're a child, if you're an adult, if you're an old man, old woman, you are at level 1 and level 7 at the same time. But you don't see that because you're stuck. You might be stuck. I might be stuck at level 3 or level 7 or level 1 or somewhere else. So the bottom line is, in order for you to grow your business to the next level, in order for you to grow your career to the next level, in order for you to feel more fulfilled, you have the permission to stay at level 1 and level 7 at the same time, level 1 and level 3 at the same time. But you don't need to have psychological needs met in order for you to feel safe. This can happen in any order. Does that make sense to you? So in other words, what I'm saying is, there is no hierarchy in the world. The hierarchy are human creations. It is a construct of our mind. The mind, the irrational mind, is trying to figure out a hierarchy so it could justify its own existence. I know this was kind of a deep end video, and if you're not familiar with some of these terms, and if you're wondering like what is Maslow's hierarchy or spirodynamics, just go ahead and Google them, study them. And if you're not familiar with the 7 chakras from Eastern world, study them. And after you study all those things, you'll realize that you are at a perfect place at a perfect time. Because a fundamental flaw in human belief system is that we are imperfect and somebody has to come in and save us or protect us. So we can go for this journey where we are completely screwed up to complete enlightenment. And there's no journey like that. The journey is that you're here right now. And you are one in that supreme power. So which means you could create, you could manifest the highest level of your consciousness and the lowest level of consciousness at the same time. So in other words, there are no hierarchies. It's all belief systems. It's all the after effects of a psychological evolution. As we evolved, just like a manufacturing unit, we produce some raw materials. We gave in some raw materials, fight or flight were the raw materials. Using those 2 raw materials, we manufactured a mind that needs to feel important. In order for us to feel important, we figured out that let's come up with some criteria. It's always good to have some criteria to know what it is, but that shouldn't limit you from experiencing life at fullest every time of your life. So you don't need to wait until you have all these things, the love, the safety, the psychological needs, the self-esteem, everything, before you could feel self-actualized. Like if you look at like Arjun and Krishna, when Krishna is talking to Arjun, Krishna is like, you know what, in order for you to feel self-actualized, first you need to work on your psychological needs. And you know what, you shouldn't go for war, because war is not a safe thing. Do you have a proper love in your life? Like, do you feel like really good self-esteem about yourself, Arjun? If that's the case, I will tell you about Bhagavad Gita. This is what I want to share with you. He didn't say that. He said, you know what, through this journey of the war, at the time war was the metaphor, while you're killing, you are feeling self-actualized. It's weird. Now you think about it, it feels weird. But at the time, because of what his dharma was at the time, and I'm not condoning death or killing people or war, but at the same time, at that time, that was his dharma, that was his karma, right? That's what he was supposed to do. So when he stayed there, he told Arjun, you know what, do this. And he's essentially going to kill his uncles and cousins. And in that, he's finding self-actualization. I'm not saying you should do the same. What I'm saying is, in whatever thing you are doing, if you're sweeping floors now, you could be self-actualized. If you're a slave, you could feel self-actualized. If you're a master, you could be self-actualized. If you're a teacher, you could feel self-actualized. If you're a student, you could feel self-actualized. It doesn't need to be based on 17 different steps that you go through. And after that, one day you feel, oh my gosh, I'm self-actualized. It doesn't have to be that way. And once you do, then your business is going to start growing. Your life is going to be faster. Everything that you do is going to grow to the next level much faster than you ever thought possible, because you're not conditioned by the mind. You exist. That's it for this week. I'll talk to you next week. Bye. Talk to you soon.